In a city where steel and flame wrote the law of the land, one kind of violence moved differently. Quiet, patient, invisible. He learned to make the landscape do the killing for him. This is the story of a man who waited, watched, and fired until the course of a battle bent to his will. Stalingrad, 1942. Among the ruins of a dying city, death didn't come with the roar of tanks or the scream of planes. It came in silence. Hidden in shattered walls and rubble, Soviet and German snipers waged a secret war of patience and precision. One shot, one life, one man whose actions would echo long after the smoke cleared. Vasily Zaitsev. Born in 1915 in the small village of Yeleninka, Zaitsev grew up under the hard hand of the Ural wilderness. His grandfather taught him to stalk prey, to move without sound, and to fire only when sure. Those lessons of economy and observation would shape him more than the sea ever could. He joined the Soviet Navy in 1937, but fate sent him inland. In the summer of 1942, he crossed to Stalingrad. The city was burning. Buildings collapsed like teeth. The Volga ran with the debris of war. Every street was a killing ground. Every shadow a possible sniper's nest. Pinned by a German machine gun, men fell in the open. Zaitsev dropped his submachine gun and took a rifle. One shot, the gun fell silent. 2 shots, 2 gunners down. 3 shots in quick succession ended the threat. Colonel Nikolai Batyuk watched and saw what training had refined. A calm hand and an eye that chose its moment with care. "Make him a sniper," the colonel said. The hunter became official. He would not hunt alone. Zaitsev trained men who came to be called the Hares. They learned to blend, to wait, and to strike not at numbers, but at consequence. Officers, radio operators, the man with medals. A sniper's true value is not always in how many fall before him, but in how many movements he alters, how many attacks he forces to slow. Fame breeds response. Word traveled among the Germans that a particularly effective Russian sniper stalked the ruins. Rumor took shape. An elite marksman sent from Berlin, a hunter dispatched to find and kill the man called the Rabbit. The duel that followed was not a single, cinematic moment, but a slow test of nerve. 2 of Zaitsev's men were ambushed while drawing water. 1 was killed outright. Zaitsev and his partner, Sergeant Nikolai Kulikov, crawled into place and watched. Day 1, nothing but wind. Day 2, the same. On the 3rd day, Zaitsev noticed a seemingly unremarkable piece of metal lying between a knocked-out tank and a pillbox. It had lain there unchanged for days, a perfect disguise. He set a decoy, a helmet on a stick, raised just enough to invite a shot. The German fired. The bullet struck the test where Zaitsev had predicted. The trap was real. At dawn, the partner raised the helmet again. A shot rang out. The man fell, pretending to be hit. The German moved to finish him. He exposed himself just enough. Zaitsev fired, 1 shot. Silence. They crawled out that night and lifted the sheet of metal. Beneath it lay a body, a shattered scope, and identification. A marksman had died. Whether the name attached to him in later reports, Major Erwin Koenig, belonged to a man who actually stood in that exact place remains a topic of debate among historians. Records do not neatly confirm the identity as printed in wartime dispatches. The duel, however, was real. The effect was not. Zaitsev fought on, through winter, through wounds, through the shelling that remade a city's bones. Wounded again in January, he survived. Soviet records credited him with scores of confirmed kills. Counts vary by source, but the impact was clear. He had taught men to hunt, and he had changed how the enemy moved. More than numbers, his work forced tactical changes. Patrols altered their routes. Reconnaissance increased. Extra men were committed to flush snipers out. One marksman, acting with patience and precision, forced changes on a scale far larger than his single rifle. After the war, researchers examined rosters and records and found gaps. A named German major does not appear clearly in surviving Wehrmacht lists tied to Stalingrad. Perhaps a name was used in propaganda. Perhaps a particular marksman was given more story than paperwork could later verify. History sometimes dresses fact with meaning to carry morale across the worst days. Whatever the final accounting, the quiet work of Zaitsev and the snipers like him altered the calculus of Stalingrad. By some tallies, thousands of enemy casualties were attributed to Soviet sharpshooters during the winter. Their presence slowed attacks, diverted forces, and exacted a psychological toll that cannot easily be measured. Vasily Zaitsev returned from war changed, decorated, and emblematic. He did not seek myth, yet he became part of it, a man whose patience became a weapon, whose silence became a message. In a city of noise and ruin, he taught an enemy to fear the quiet. That is how one man, alone, patient, precise, can shape the fate of a place in the memory of a war.